an optional safety video to watch. You do not have to watch the video, but yes, it's optional. They show you a QR code and say, it's if you want to watch the safety video, here it is. And then you follow your guide through the streets of Tokyo that in go-karts that go about 50 miles an hour, and you're just in open traffic.
Welcome to the Lariat Lounge. This is the home of smart takes, hard hits, and real talk. I'm your host, Everson Godfrey, co-host Andrew Skeens. Skeener, where the heck are you, dude? I looked all over Milwaukee for you, and I could not find you. And then some birdie flew in and said, konnichiwa. And I didn't really understand. I understand a little Japanese, but I didn't understand why it was speaking Japanese to me. But can you inform me as to why this little bird is dropping me a line all the way from Japan?
So, internationally, all the way from lovely Kyoto today. So, yes, we are international. I'm out here on my balcony in Kyoto, and yeah, we're doing this internationally for the first time.
It is an international show, people. We are here. We are live. I thank you guys for coming. Not live, but I thank you guys for coming and hanging out with us. Skeener's on a bit of a delay, so we are going to do the best we can. Skeener, it blew my mind when I was setting up for the podcast today because we're doing Backlash reactions. I don't know why, but it feels like Backlash was a long time ago. Does it feel that way for you?
I mean, I've, right after Backlash, I hopped on a plane and flew halfway across the world. So time has flown for me.
Yeah.
But, no, I can't share the sentiment, mostly because of my great circumstances right now.
Listen, I will tell you the truth, dude. It blew my mind when I was looking at the episode count on Buzzsprout and I was getting things ready for today. And I was like, okay, what episode are we working on? And I was like, wait, the last episode was the predictions? And I know we did the live stream, you know what I'm saying? Now I'm trying to pull everything together and I'm just like, did I miss something? Did we miss a week? But no, we're right on schedule. Everything is great, despite the fact that we are currently sitting at 999 unique downloads. Can we get one? Can we get one download to push us over the edge? But we'll get there this week, obviously. But thanks to everybody for listening to this podcast and getting us like so close to 1,000. We are almost at 1,000 unique downloads. That is an accomplishment. Buzzsprout is going to send a little trophy thing, a little electronic trophy. It's going to be a great experience. We've been doing this for a while, and we're glad to be able to hit this up with everybody. Skeener, please let everyone know where they can tune in and listen to this podcast, whether you are in the States, whether you are in Japan, whether you are anywhere across the globe that listens to the Lariat Lounge.
No matter where in the world you are, the Lariat Lounge is coming at you once a week, every week. Find us on YouTube. Search the Lariat Lounge. That's where you'll find all the episodes in video and audio format, where you'll find all our PLE live streams. That's where we'll go live. That's where all the old ones are. If you still like the audio podcast, we're on all your favorite platforms. That's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever else you get your shows. We're there. Go get your merch at prowrestlingtees.com/the Lariat Lounge. We got 6 great designs up there, 2 new ones cooking up in Everson's brain, coming very soon. Give us a follow over on Instagram at the Lariat Lounge Podcast. And as always, feel free to send us an email with your thoughts at thelariatlounge@gmail.com.
Now, I want everybody to give a big thank you to Andrew Skeens, because Andrew Skeens just put me on the hook for 2 shirts as opposed to 1. So I've been cooking up 1, but I had an idea for us. I have an idea for another one. But since Skeener's already put it out there in the ethos, I will go ahead and start putting that one into development as well. So thank you. Thanks. Give thanks to Skeener for getting you an extra t-shirt in the next month or so. So you're welcome in advance. But seriously, no, we thank you guys genuinely for checking us out, hanging out with us, buying whatever merch it is you want to buy, coming checking us out on the PLEs. We genuinely do appreciate it. And look, wherever it is that you are consuming this podcast, whether it is on YouTube in video format or whether it is on any of the podcast platforms you listen to the audio, we genuinely thank you. And leave us a like rating. Wherever it is that you're consuming this, leave us a like rating. It is a small thing for you, but for us, it genuinely means the world. I really do appreciate it. Skeener really appreciates it. We both appreciate it. But hey, enough with the fluff. Let's get to the stuff. Skeener, we are picking up where Backlash left off. So I had to genuinely, listen, it genuinely felt like to me that Backlash happened like 2 weekends ago. I'm not entirely sure why that is, but I had to go online and refresh myself regarding what happened on Backlash and what happened at Raw. It was a fun PLE. There's been a lot that's happened. But at the very same time, Raw comes around, and I feel like we're kind of doing a lot of the same stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, it kind of felt like we're still doing a lot of the same things. Now, I do want to speak on something real quick, because I did find this rather interesting. So, is Asuka gone?
I think she is gone.
I think
It
she is gone, too.
pretty, yeah. See, seemingly, given all the what we saw on Saturday, and then the reaction on social media from other superstars, from Asuka posting herself, it seems like she is gone, at least for the time being.
Okay, so I did not catch any of the social media stuff per usual. So what is it that's been going on social media as far as like what Asuka's posted, what other people have posted? What's up with that?
Yeah, just kind of people giving her flowers, posting their pictures with Asuka. Asuka's been posting pictures of her, backstage with other superstars, and she hasn't spoken on anything. I know some of the dirt sheets said something like she's not gone from the company, but she is being given time to go back to Japan to handle a family matter. So who knows how true that is, but it definitely seems like she is leaving for at least the immediate future and will not be on the road, in the locker room, that type of stuff.
Yeah. Well, look, to handle a family matter is awfully specific, right? Like, that's awfully a specific thing to kind of like pepper in there if somehow it is trying to throw you off the scent of something that she's doing. I don't know. Like, I feel like they could have done that without that specificity. But if it's true that she's not gone from the company, but she's kind of taking a step away for a while to handle some business, that's good. I don't want to lose Asuka. I don't want to lose Asuka from our programming. But, all said, yeah, it was the finish to that match on Backlash was a bit surprising. At least not the finish of the match itself, but, the aftermath of the match was a bit surprising. And then what they followed up with on Raw definitely kind of felt like she was stepping away. Now, it was a bit dramatic, the hug and the talking and then the walk off into the distance. It was a little dramatic. So it kind of made me feel in the moment when I was watching it that, okay, maybe she's going away for a little while. But if that's what's been showing up on social media, that, people are kind of giving her flowers, it seems like she could be stepping away for a extended period of time. I mean, who knows? But suffice it to say, we got a lot of stuff to cover. So let's get right into the Backlash card. So Braun Breaker defeats Seth Rollins. Now, did we predict this match going Braun's way?
Yes, we did. We did.
Okay. So Seth shows up on Raw. Now, does he attack the Vision after during anywhere on Raw? Like, I know he shows up for the Street Profits thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, he got involved in the match. He wasn't, so the Vision opened the show, right? They had it was mostly Heyman on the mic, and I think Theory got on the mic or tried to, and then the Street Profits came out, and did we get Joe Hendry in the open?
Yeah.
I don't think we got Joe Hendry in the open.
No, but he came out.
Street Profits came out. Montez was talking his trash too. Yeah, Montez was talking his trash to Theory. Oh Yeah, no, yeah, Hendry was out at the end, and then they went straight into the match.
Yeah.
And then Seth came out and interfered in the match, and
Oh, that's right.
that's what led to the Street Profits getting the victory.
That's right. Didn't Seth accidentally he got Montez speared, right? He got Montez speared by
he got
Breaker.
Dawkins speared.
Yeah. Okay, my
Yes.
bad. Yeah, he got
So
Dawkins
yeah,
speared.
so towards the end, Rollins shows up. He attacks Braun. That's what lets Montez roll up Theory. Then Theory is putting the boots to, I believe it was Dawkins after the match. Seth helps Dawkins, tries to extend the olive branch, but then Breaker comes back and Rollins is about to eat a spear, and he kind of half moves out of the way, half throws Dawkins into the spear. And yeah, I don't know if that was intentional for it to look that way, but looked that way to me. But then yeah, Montez was not very happy with Seth about that, and they exchange some shoves after that. So we're still definitely going with the Rollins has no friends angle here, even though he was trying to make friends, seemingly.
Yeah, listen, they followed up with that backstage segment, right? Where what was it? Was Rollins was trying to apologize for what happened?
Mm-hmm.
He was trying to apologize, and Montez won't have none of that. This is
he has not yet.
No, I don't. I'm telling, dude. The more I look at what happened on Raw, like specifically like with this match, the more and more I look at this, the more and more Backlash, though a fun pay-per-view, seems a bit inconsequential. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I'm looking at the card for Backlash. I'm looking at everything that happened, and no titles change hands, right? All of the stories, for the most part, have kind of inched forward a bit, but they're generally in the same spot that they were, on the Friday before Backlash. You getting the same vibe?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I guess other than kind of concluding Io and Asuka, you're right. We probably could have, pending what we see on SmackDown, we probably could have not even had Backlash, and everything would kind of be in the same spot. I do agree.
For the most part, because so there's nothing really changed with regards to the Vision and anything that happened with them, despite the fact that Breaker beat Rollins and talked his trash during that promo. But, we're still pretty much, for the most part, in the same storyline plot point that we were in last week with Rollins and the Vision and the Street Profits. I'm scrolling down on the Raw card. I'm going to skip over Penta and Javon right now. Although that was a very good match. Ethan Page is insanely entertaining. I'm going to skip over that match for right now. We looked at Asuka and Io. Okay, so the Judgment Day, they beat down Paige and Brie Bella. I did not expect for Brie to be wrestling every week. I did not expect that. Did they wrestle last week? I think they did, right? Brie and
yes.
And
yeah.
Okay, they wrestled last week. Okay.
On SmackDown.
Okay. So they've been wrestling pretty much every week since they've been back, right?
Yeah. Well, I think they didn't. I'm not sure if they had a match that first week post WrestleMania, but other than that, yes.
I don't know what it is. I'm hoping it is a post WrestleMania thing for me. But some of these things, particularly like with the women's tag team championships, I feel like what's going on between the Judgment Day, Brie and Paige, I believe we still have Fatal Influence tied into this as well.
Yeah, per SmackDown, yeah.
Yeah, for some reason, I don't know. This feels like it's losing a little bit of steam for me. I'm not sure if it is my over excitement for Paige's return kind of letting some of the pressure off of what was happening with the women's tag team championships. I'm glad they have them. I really want to see Paige do some more things and interact with some more people. I feel like this is a good spot for her, but I also kind of feel like, and this is just me, I'm only speaking for myself, but I feel like Paige is being a bit hamstrung by being tied to Brie.
I think I think you kind of hit the nail on the head earlier when you were talking about it. It was the excitement for Paige's return, which yes, it was awesome. We're all excited for Paige to return, and then we've got to realize that she's in the women's tag team championship scene, and it's kind of this is what the women's tag team championship scene has been for the most part. It hasn't been. I don't want to say hasn't been at all, but it hasn't been as heavily invested in story wise as some other spots on the card. So I, like you, also am ready for Paige to have some stories on her own, which hopefully this kind of gets us there. I mean, I would Paige and Liv would be great, I think, and we had Liv interjecting herself into this a little bit because it's we had the Judgment Day holding up all the titles at the end of this segment, and Liv her I we were talking about this last week, I think, with Stephanie seemingly gone for a little bit, who challenges Liv, maybe Paige, but we'll see. It seems like Brie and Paige have some tag team business to take care of before we get there.
Yeah, I would listen. I would love to see Paige doing something a bit more solo. And listen, I will say this though, I felt like the women's tag team division at one point was being booked way better than the men's was. I mean, the men's is pretty much non-existent right now. But the women's tag team division, I mean, listen, it wasn't that long ago. It wasn't that long ago that our tag team champions were freaking Rhea Ripley and Io. Like, the tag team division felt like it was hotter than it had been in a while. I felt like when Paige showed up at WrestleMania, for a lot of us, that just kind of blew the roof off of everything. And it was just an adrenaline spike. It was a high to have her back. I, like many people, did not genuinely expect the tag team of Brie and Paige to win the women's tag team championships, but I was genuinely interested to see what it was that they were going to do with them. And we currently got this three-way feud between the tag champs, the Judgment Day, and Fatal Influence. Who is going to take those belts off of them? I'm not entirely sure. I don't mind the Bellas, but I've never been one who felt like the Bellas were the strongest on the microphone. And I feel like there's more talking that's being left to Brie than I genuinely expected. And so I don't know, but it's kind of giving me AJ Lee vibes. Like, it feels like there is a different speed. There's a different speed at which wrestling is moving nowadays, that if you're not constantly on the product, if you're not constantly producing with the product, it can show. And we stated this before when we were talking about AJ Lee. How it didn't seem like there was anything wrong with what AJ Lee was doing or saying. It just felt like it was a step behind where wrestling promos currently are in today's wrestling. And I kind of feel like that is the same thing that's happening with Brie. She's doing the most talking. And I feel like when Paige is adding on her little 2 cents onto what Brie is saying, I don't feel like it's serving her very well. Like, Paige is pretty good on the microphone, but if I'm remembering correctly, I always felt like Paige did way better when she was able to talk on her own, A, and B, her backstage segments. The things that involved a little bit more nuance in the storytelling, she excelled in. And I remember seeing a little bit of that in AEW when she was over there. I would just like to see her do a little more that does not involve having Brie Bella. Like, I would love to see them implode. That, to me, would give some nuance to this story to where we can get a good guy, bad guy out of this, get a little bit more tension between the two of them, and get a little bit more out of Paige. Because I just don't want Paige to go the way of AJ Lee, where it's like it's a nice pop, a nice little nostalgia bring back, but people drop off of it quickly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I can't imagine we're not going to get Paige and Nikki once Nikki is cleared. That seems like something both of them would be up for. That seems like a natural way out of this, kind of Paige and Bree alliance, but who knows? We've been wrong on what seems foregone before, but I think we're gonna get that Paige and Nikki angle just because there's enough history. I bet personally both of them would like for that to be a thing that they could work with each other. So we'll just see. But it's I'm not as down on the scene right now because I like that it's playing into these two factions on both shows, and these tag titles are definitely in jeopardy for Paige and Bree.
I saw something when I was pulling up WWE, the WWE's site, so I could pull up the results of the shows. And I don't be on social media, so I don't know what it is that people are talking about with regards to the world of wrestling outside of what it is that you and I talk about for the most part. But I saw something when I was putting in WWE, and I typically will type, WWE.com, and it'll bring their site as the first thing I see. But I just typed WWE and I hit enter. And the first thing that popped up was a bunch of like news stuff, a bunch of social media things before I got to the site. And the first thing that popped up was something along the lines of fans voicing their thoughts on WWE potentially changing plans around Fatal Influence. Now, I don't know if that was like
I see this. I see this because I googled WWE just to be on the same page with what you're seeing.
I don't know if that is them talking about changing plans about or toward Fatal Influence, or if they're talking about changing plans because they want to build around Fatal Influence. I didn't click on it, but I saw that. You clicking on it right now? I figured.
Oh yeah. You're going to be so underwhelmed by what it is.
Okay, I bet.
Because it's another one of the things, like I'm telling you, we should start a dirt sheet and charge for it, because it's just something like, oh, someone's been watching the show and wants to act like they know.
Okay, lay it on me. What is it? What are you talking about?
Oh, the plans that have changed. The alleged changing of plans is that Fatal Influence has been good at what they're doing. So they are changing plans to more prominently feature them in storylines and towards the top of the card. As if they didn't come in and attack big stars and get involved with the champion right away. Like, what are they talking about? That's already happened.
Yeah, they came in attacking everyone. They
Right.
came in attacking everyone. I'm not entirely sure how much
they've been in like 2-3 segments every show.
Yeah, yes. I mean, look, JC Jane went heads up with the women's WWE champion within the first like 2 weeks of being on the main roster before this report came out.
She did so well at that she's going to get rewarded for it and moved up the card to
higher
right where she is.
WWE
so there you go.
She's going to the men's division. They're sending her. They're sending her across the gender line there. This type of stuff, man.
That was per WrestleVotes Radio.
WrestleVotes Radio. They have their WrestleVotes Radio now. Like this, man. Listen.
Oh yeah, that is the less. I'd say that's less reputable than the Lariat Lounge for sure.
Yeah. Because
our no sources and watching the show is better than their sources.
Oh, listen, I think it's always better than the show because we are literally getting it from the source, the television show. We're not basing this off of any speculatory or speculative information that someone has seen online. This clickbait stuff, bro. That is, if I may, what pisses me off the most just being on social media is dealing with freaking clickbait. I cannot stand it. You wrote me in with some thumbnail that is misleading or some tagline that is misleading. And then I click on it, and what you show me is the stupidest crap. It is the dumbest things. It is the simplest notions. It is the most obvious stuff. And I sometimes I think to myself, Skeener, I can't imagine being a human being that operates in this world without modicums of integrity. But there are some people who can just move through space, and as long as it gets clicks, as long as it gets views or traction, they don't care what it is. They don't care what it is that they're putting out or what it is that they're talking about or whose name they could be disparaging or what mockery they're making of themselves. Because at the end of the day, all that matters is that the view count is going up and their name is getting out there. The idea of all publicity is good publicity, all press is good press, all attention is good attention. I don't subscribe to that, but some people, man, I can't do it. I cannot do it. So thank you, WrestleVotes Radio, for absolutely nothing. But let's see. Obafemi continues his open challenge with no one wanting to take on the challenge.
Yes, despite lack of interest from the roster, he did continue his open challenge. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and get into this now. We are very hard on the officials, and we're gonna continue that because what in the world happened on Monday night? Oba just drags two people into the ring, and the ref just starts a match. Does that mean if Oba dragged us into the ring from the crowd, we would unwillingly just have a match with him?
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Listen, I have not forgiven the ref for Backlash. I haven't forgiven the ref for Backlash. You mean to tell me you can just pull the turnbuckle off right in front of the ref, slam someone into it, pin them off of it, and the ref is just going to make the count as if somehow that is not a disqualifiable offense? I don't know. I hope that Becky Lynch runs an angle against Jessica Carr and goes on like a one-person crusade against all referees. Like that is something she does throughout the summer. It's just go on this campaign of wanting to take down WWE refs, and Jessica Carr be the proxy for refs in WWE. Like I watched a video from Simon Miller the other day about 7 storylines that WWE started and just dropped. Like they never picked it back up. They never, followed through with it. And I genuinely hope that what WWE was doing with Becky and Jessica Carr, that they don't let that go. They let so many things go that, and certain things are on that list I had totally forgotten that WWE even did, that they were even building to, and it just kind of went away. You know what's one thing I forgot about, and surprisingly I forgot about it, Skeener, despite the fact that it was so big on the programming for a while? WWE, going into WrestleMania 42, was building up Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre. I completely forgot that even happened. But then as soon as he said it, I remember when Drew kicked Cody's head through the announce table. And I was like, oh, okay. So this is what we're doing. Because this was right after what? Elimination Chamber?
Was it? Did they do it again? I don't remember if they did or not, to be honest.
Wait, so when did Cody and Drew wrestle?
That was the first SmackDown of the year, right? From Germany, and Drew won the title.
Okay. So at that time then, Cody did not have a championship.
Cody didn't win it back until Elimination Chamber, I believe. Right?
So he won it back in Elimination Chamber. He beat he beat Punk.
He beat Drew. Cody took it back from Drew.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe it was at Elimination Chamber because then Randy won the Elimination Chamber, and that's when we were like, okay, Cody and Randy.
Wait, he couldn't have beat Drew at Elimination Chamber because Cody was in the Elimination Chamber. That was when Randy.
Oh, it was the next SmackDown that he beat him. Okay. Yes, because that's what it was. Because he had that match on the next SmackDown.
Right. Okay. So
you're right. He was in the Elimination Chamber, and then he beat him on the following Friday.
Because Drew had been like attacking Cody leading up to Elimination Chamber. Because there was a whole angle with Cody calling Drew a coward because he wouldn't fight him straight up. And I think that all was perpetuated off of the first attack that Drew had did when he kicked Cody's head through the front of the announce table. I can't remember what PLE that was. But it was
I will say, I think that was before Drew won the title, I'm pretty sure.
So Drew,
because I think
Who did Drew beat to
Yes.
win? He beat Cody to get the title, right?
He beat Cody in the 3 stages of Hell match when Jacob came back in the cage match.
That's right. That's right.
And that's when I guess when it just first dawned upon you that Cody's character is dumb.
Yes. Yeah.
But
That's right.
But it is. That's just part of it. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say. I mean, they finished Cody and Drew as far as I was concerned, and then they went on to Drew Jacob, and now Drew is gone for a bit and will come back as perturbed and as pissed off as ever.
Yeah, I guess they did finish that angle. I guess for me, dude, it felt like when Drew segued to Jacob, right? Well, first of all, Drew dropping the title to Cody so close to Mania, to me, always felt like WWE wanted to go in a different direction with a main event for WrestleMania. And so they pulled the card off of Drew, they placed it onto Cody, which ironically and sad to say, it made it feel to me like Jacob versus Drew was a consolation prize. I felt like it felt like it was what they gave Drew so that he could still be on the card, right? Because at some point I thought that they weren't even bothering with the Drew Jacob stuff anymore. I thought they had kind of gone away from that, but Jacob was back in the picture. I thought it could have been a triple threat at some point between Drew, Cody, and
yeah.
and Jacob,
We were thinking of Fatal 4-Way at one point
with Cody involved.
Orton in there.
Okay.
With Orton, with Orton, Cody, Jacob, and Drew. I remember us predicting that kind of coming out of, because we had the one episode we had between Elimination Chamber and Cody winning the title again. But I think even after Cody won the title, we thought maybe all those pieces still get involved, but obviously they didn't. I thought the Drew involvement concluded in a way that made sense, because even though he had the title, he couldn't stop attacking and interfering in other matches.
True.
And finally, his need to do that caught up to him by getting a match set up, because they did the thing where, like, okay, if he beats Cody can't challenge again or whatever. Yeah. And then he wouldn't stop attacking Cody in his matches. So Aldis was like, you know what? No, you're having a match. And then Cody beat him. I thought that made sense, at least. But you're right that it did seem like a little bit of a consolation prize, and they just wanted to get it to Cody for Mania, which is what it is. I mean, we discussed that at length on prior episodes, but to me, it wrapped up with a bow, at least a little bit.
You know what would have been, and listen, forgive us, guys. We're going a little bit off the rails right here. I'm enjoying the conversation, and it happens sometimes. So whatever. I'm hosting. So you know what would have been a great angle? So Cody and Randy going into WrestleMania 40, right? Obviously, they were building something really good, and then we started bringing in the angle where Randy was talking to someone on the phone. There was actually a voice that was in his ear, right? Obviously, we find out that voice that was in his ear was Pat McAfee, right? No one's ideal pick, but it was Pat McAfee. You know who would have been awesome if we had to bring someone else into the picture that was on the phone with Randy? If WWE could have secured this person by WrestleMania? Chris Jericho. Like, if Jericho was the voice on the phone.
I mean, that would have been exciting.
Like, I'm just thinking about how big the crowd would have popped. But two, the fact that you could play off of the fact that they're both originally WWE guys, but then two, they both came from another company, right? They both worked together to help build this company, right? And you could really play into this idea that Jericho has something against Cody. You know what I mean? That he has something against Cody, and that there is some reason that Jericho really wants to see Cody's downfall. And so he's using Randy as a proxy to try and get the job done. It sets Randy up for a later on some sort of redemption arc, right? And it sets up Jericho as like the big bad, the big villain behind the whole thing. It gives Cody a new mountain to climb, a new villain to conquer. Did you ever watch that video that I sent you? That I sent you from what was it, WrestleFun?
WrestleFun, yes.
The one about Cody?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the last one you sent me. I forget what it was entitled, but
I forget what it
yes,
was called too.
I did watch it.
But yeah, so they broke that down really well with like the archetype of Cody's character and the idea that Cody's character is one that requires a dragon to slay. It requires a mountain to climb because him being that big of a baby face, that big of a good guy, he seems to lose a little bit of steam when he does not have a genuinely good foil to go up against. And it's why when we started positioning Randy as this foil for him at WrestleMania 42, it felt so good in the moment because you had all this backstory and his history that made the stakes of this more relevant than just the WWE championship, right? There seemed to be more at stake here. And that is a space that Cody has proven that he can shine in. Yeah, beating Roman was about winning the championship, right? But the bigger story was finishing the story, right? That existential threat is what a hero like Cody's character is best at going up against. And Randy had that element to it. When you brought in McAfee, it kind of deflated that balloon because the whole angle about like the business is trash and all this stuff, it didn't really live up to the bigness that Randy and Cody was already being built to. But part of that was off the strength of the fact that Pat McAfee was not the person that people wanted to see on the other side of that phone. And B, he did not really hold the credible weight to be making those claims to give this angle more stakes. You know what I mean? And it's also stamped by the fact that we ain't seen Randy since.
Yeah, I get. Yeah, that he must actually. Unfortunately, the dirt sheets must have got that one right, and he must be not feeling so great physically. Because you're right, we haven't seen Randy since, and we are full speed ahead towards Cody and Gunther at this point. So yeah, we'll see. I still, man, maybe it's like some of the natural inkling to find ways to like things that people vehemently dislike.
Sure.
That's, I guess, I don't know if it's a flaw of mine, but like in wrestling, I love to enjoy things that like the internet loves to hate for
Sure.
reasons. So like,
yeah.
I don't know. It didn't make sense. We didn't need Pat McAfee, but I still kind of liked it. I really did.
It served a purpose. Listen, I enjoyed it for what it was. If there was, and listen, if Randy is not feeling great, if Randy is injured or he's trying to work through some of the pain that he may be dealing with due to long-standing and well documented injuries or stuff with his body, then okay, cool. But that being said, the abruptness to which this just kind of fell off, right? Pat McAfee got excommunicated from the necessity of this story mid-match. And, Cody wins. Randy punts his freaking eye into the Stone Ages, and we don't see Randy anymore. Randy rehabbing aside, to me, the Pat McAfee part takes even more of the brunt of the blow then, because it then genuinely feels like it meant nothing. It genuinely feels like it was a very throwaway angle that was added into something that genuinely did not need it. I mean, we haven't seen Pat anymore because Pat was like, if Randy loses, I'm not coming back, which a lot of us genuinely cared about. And, Randy's not back. Like you said, Cody's moved on, to something else. Randy could always come back into the picture, obviously. And honestly, that would be the best move is for if and when Randy is healthy and wants to come back, he should come back right back where he left off, right? Attacking Cody, pick back up where this feud should have gone, which was without the Pat McAfee angle. But we're back. We're on this conversation right now because I was thinking about this on the ride home from work today. And I was thinking, if that was Jericho on the phone and it wasn't Pat McAfee, how different the fans would have responded. You know what I'm saying? To this story. I think Jericho just would have had a different grasp on the fans, and they would have enjoyed it in a way that Pat McAfee just could not do because he's not Chris Jericho. And I think Chris Jericho would be, even if they took that exact same angle and they just gave it to Jericho, I think it would have just
To be
been
fair, I think if you take any mystery reveal over the past year and make it Jericho instead, it becomes better. I can't think of one where it doesn't make it better and more enjoyable for the fans, though.
You know what? To be fair, I think you're right. I think you're right. Because I'm thinking back to how many times did we, like, at least I know for me, did I haphazardly throw out there, maybe it's Jericho. Maybe it's Jericho in the Rumble. Maybe it's Jericho in this angle. Maybe Jericho's in the box. Like,
yeah.
Listen, I bet Jericho is probably sitting on his rockin' wrestling tour and is like, that's not happening, guys. That's not happening. I've never said anything about returning to WWE, not with any amount of like legitimacy, but let's see. So Raw closes with Jacob not acknowledging the tribal chief, and
very, very much did not acknowledge him. Yes.
Very much did not acknowledge the tribal chief. And if I'm not mistaken, one of the Usos was trying to warn Roman that this was not going to go the way he thought it was going to go. Was it Jimmy? Because I know Jay was trying to talk some sense into Jacob. Or was that Raw before Backlash?
You know, I do not particularly remember that. To be honest, I watched Raw very late last night because of all the travel and stuff I've been doing. But it sounds like something Jimmy would do. If we're just going on who that sounds like a Jimmy thing. I know they both got laid out pretty quickly in that segment to close Raw.
Yeah, well, they were all three out there at the barricade when Jacob left and he was up the ramp and then decided to come full steam and just plow through the entire barricade.
One of the best barricade spots I've seen in a while.
Absolutely.
Just an incredible spot. And I love a good barricade spot, but that one looked vicious. And Jacob did. He just put it all on the line and just sprinted through it and wasn't stopping.
He plowed through that thing for a hot second.
Mm-hmm.
For a hot second, I was like, yo, he could have hurt somebody right there. Like he went full steam ahead, no stop, no brakes, all gas, and just plowed through that freaking barricade. But yeah, dude, I feel like Jacob, though he's not playing a heel, I think he makes for a great heel. And if you count Roman as a face, which I don't really think you can. I don't know if you got a face heel dynamic here, which it doesn't really need it, but this angle was good though. This angle was good. I mean, like we said, this hasn't moved anything along. We're literally still in the spot that we were in before Backlash, which begs the question for me of what do we do next with the Usos? Because I feel like the Usos are going to be the next story beat to move here within this. Because obviously Roman is not changing his position and Jacob isn't changing his position. And prior to Backlash, part of the conversation that we were having was that the Usos were going to play some sort of role in the conclusion of the match at Backlash. It didn't fall the way that at least I thought it was going to go. Not at all. But I'm wondering how this is going to play out because I feel like Jimmy and Jay have a perspective on Jacob that Roman does not have. And Roman seems to be very much in his head with regards to, I'm the tribal chief. I'm the champion. And though I'm not on my same shtick as I was before, when it comes to somebody like Jacob, I'm going to handle it the same way I've always handled it, which is I'm going to beat you into submission and you're going to acknowledge me. And where Jimmy and Jay fought against it in the beginning of the original Bloodline story, they're essentially here for the ride this go around, but they have different perspectives on like what it means for others to bend the knee. And that's what they've been mentioning with Jacob, right? That Jacob has a point that he wants to have these things because providing for his family, is a thing. And then from Jake's perspective, he's like, hey, Jacob is a different type of beast. Like he's not going to do what you say without you, showing him that there are consequences to these types of actions. Now, granted, Roman did beat him at Backlash, but Roman cheated. Roman cheated to beat him, and he didn't beat him clean. So I don't know if, for me, I feel like Roman's little mini bloodline reunion is going to last too much longer. Like, I think it will last through the next few PLEs, but I don't think it's destined to be anything like the original run was with the bloodline. I don't think they're going to stay together that long.
No, it's not. It's not going to be a 4-year run like it was before. That's for sure. But I think we go a little longer with it. You're right. We're kind of in the same spot. We didn't move along story wise that much, but we still got a great segment to close Raw. The crowd was loving Jacob by the end of it, but that's because you let him just do what he's good at, which is just, create carnage and have that innate physical charisma while he's doing it. So that was a great segment. We'll see where we go at Clash in Italy. If we do kind of a gimmick match or a rematch, I would assume that there's some sort of gimmick thrown on top of it, but we'll see in the coming weeks where they go with that. But yeah, we didn't get a whole lot of, like you said, it seems like Backlash didn't really move us along anywhere, and we're kind of in the same spot for most of the feuds absent Io and Asuka.
Yeah. So,
which I will say again, I have to reiterate, that match at Backlash was an A+ match for me. I thought that was a great way, and if it's the end of Asuka's run, even if it's the end of her WWE run completely, that is a heck of a way to go out as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, 1000%. That was a great match. Like I've stated before, I agree with, who was it? I think it's Michael Cole. I agree with Michael Cole's sentiment that Io is, in my opinion, probably the best female wrestler in the world. I think she just does everything well, and her in-ring acumen is top tier, and she just does wrestling great. And Asuka is right up there too. And for them to have such history and for them to go at it, I'm glad that they were at least able to give us this in light of what their original feud was and what it got kind of boiled down to pre-WrestleMania, that they did get to give us this, and they gave us a few good promo segments leading up to it, and this match was freaking awesome. And I agree with you 1000%, sir. Like, if this is Asuka's last go around in WWE for now or forever, then this was a great way to close this chapter, because the match was easily my favorite match of the night. And there were some good matches on the card. And we didn't even really touch on the Backlash card because nothing really changed for the most part. But for me, looking at Backlash, I felt like that was easily my match of the night, was Asuka and Io. They just killed it. They killed it. And that's saying something, because I enjoyed Trick Williams and Sammy. I genuinely enjoyed the Trick Williams and Sammy match. It was. I think everyone did, except a few dedicated contrarians on the internet that want to think. I'm doing my thing. I've got the Bleacher Report kind of recap for the shows pulled up, because I was looking real quick. I had forgotten about SmackDown, and we had our what we and so many other people out there loved, the Gingerbread Man's funeral last Friday, SmackDown. It was that's a C- from this gentleman at Bleacher Report. Of course,
a C- segment, which I thought was an A+ as far as I'm concerned.
Oh yeah, it was freaking A+. But some people don't like fun. Some people don't enjoy fun.
Trick had a choir out there, and he gave us a little spoken word song / rap that you could see in the background. Wade was just losing it at the table.
I didn't even notice that.
But the entire funeral was incredible, and just going throughout the whole show and everyone being torn up, and like we said on the live stream, just like it puts Sammy in the perfect position for this iteration of his character, which is where he can't understand why everyone else is acting like they are, which in this case is like very fair when you break it down. Like, what are we doing? We are having a funeral for a mascot character, but like when everyone else plays it so straight, and he's like the only one playing it, real. It's just, it's funny and it's perfect.
His voice in this feud has been the meta commentary surrounding certain elements of professional wrestling for decades, right? Like it's the part of our reality that we suspend when we watch professional wrestling and we enjoy it, right? Undertaker's not really dead. Kane's not really from hell, but it's fun. These are great characters. We enjoyed it. It was part of our upbringing in professional wrestling. But yeah, when we sometimes sit back and we look at what we enjoy about wrestling, some of it is freaking ridiculous. And listen, I enjoy the ridiculous. So I may look at a situation and think to myself, yes, it is kind of wild that we are about to have a funeral for the gingerbread man. And that Joe Tess, God bless Joe Tess, he has been soft eulogizing and building us up for the heartbreaking farewell to the gingerbread man all night long. And it's just great. And Sammy comes out, and Sammy is just the one person who seems to be 10 toes down in the reality of the world. And he just cannot make sense why we are pretending like this is real. And one of my favorite parts of this are like the little things, right? When he's talking to Nick Aldis, and Nick will say something like, "Show some respect, Sammy." Or he'll look at Sammy. It's like, yes, look, we'll get you out there, but people are grieving right now. It's like those little things. It's, oh my gosh, it's the little stuff that just sends these little scenes a bit higher and make them land just a little bit better. And then to have the funeral happen and freaking Gingy rise up from the dead, and it's none other than Lil Yachty. Love that.
Yeah.
Love that. Absolutely love that. I mean, dude, that's just great stuff, man. That's just great fun wrestling. And the fact that some people don't enjoy it, like I feel like these are the same people who like go to cookouts and don't have fun. They get invited to dinner and they don't eat.
For sure. I like, and we said it on the live stream, if you did not enjoy the gingerbread man funeral, then like we're just on totally different levels when it comes to what I am looking for from this TV show that I'm watching, from what I love about pro wrestling. So
agreed, 1,000%. You are the type of
and
person.
then they went in to Backlash and had an unbelievable match. Like that's perfect. Like it just. I thought everything about this Trick Williams, Sami Zayn stuff has been awesome. And I knew it was going to be ever since I watched Sami Zayn drop to his knees and low blow a costume with no one inside. I was like, okay, yeah.
We were on the right track. Yeah, dude, it's just fun. And it's so different. It was so different than any other angle that the show was running at the time. And shout out to Trick and Sammy to be able to take something like this and really make it manifest and make it work. This could have gone so many ways wrong. This could have gone bad in so many ways. But shout out to Sammy, shout out to Trick, because they were able to pull this off. They were able to make it work. And yes, like you stated, they get to Backlash and they deliver an incredible match. It was super fun to watch. I was thoroughly entertained. And, all I got to worry about is myself. All I got to worry about is this podcast. And I would like to think that the people who watch this podcast are like-minded folks like you and I, and they enjoy this type of entertainment from their wrestling product. Listen, if you want wrestling that is completely straight, that does not do any of this really goofy stuff, look, there are other places that you can go to consume wrestling. You know, if there's something that I am not going to criticize WWE on, it is writing a good storyline that makes me intrigued, that makes me laugh, and delivers great wrestling. That's a trifecta there. You're going to win me every time. I will say this about SmackDown, and then I want to talk to you about something that happened on Backlash. So I genuinely feel like WWE and SmackDown particularly have a hidden gem in Kiana James. I feel like she shows out, in my opinion, every time she is in the ring. And, you know, she's having great matches with other great in-ring competitors. I think that she is pretty decent on the microphone. She can carry her own. I think her entrance music is garbage. We got to fix that. But aside from that, though, I feel like she is benefiting from this soft storyline that they are telling between her and Julia, and about, it seems like it's a storyline that's kind of built around Julia maybe feeling like Kiana is not playing her role effectively with regard to getting Julia the opportunities, and Kiana is finding herself in these positions where she's getting these matches. I'm not exactly sure what the storyline is, but at the very same time, I know that whenever Kiana James is wrestling a match, I'm watching it. And I feel like it's because she is very good at what she does. Maybe WWE should lean into this a little bit. Maybe they're doing it, but I hope they lean into it a bit further. A separation from Julia may not be the best thing to do right this second, because I don't know where you would put Kiana James directly in the moment. But she did wrestle Tiffany Stratton. She lost. She's still in the United States, championship picture. But I wouldn't be a bit surprised, because currently there isn't anybody else that's orbiting the United States championship for the women right now besides Kiana James and Julia, with Tiffany Stratton as a champ. I would not be surprised if, because we didn't have anything here on Backlash for the U.S. championship, that in the next PLE, which is Clash in Italy, that we have some sort of match
Clash in Italy
with the United States championship on the line. And honestly, I don't know how long Tiffany Stratton holds that title. It's less important than the title she was holding before, so I can see them keeping it on her. She still gets over with the fans, but I don't know. The United States Championship is that title where you have room to kind of put it on people, try new things out, see what the fan reaction is to someone holding gold.
I think they're going to run with the Tiffany U.S. title run for just a little bit. I think it seems like fans are reacting to her with less apathy than there was kind of before she went away for a bit. So, but I mean, I could see, like you said, I mean, you're hearing it right here on just like you hear it on WrestleVotes Radio. We've been watching the show, and we see that Kiana James is performing well. So we're gonna say, hey, our backstage sources tell us that Kiana James may be in line for a push here soon.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do it. Scoop. So Kiana James is performing well on screen, and sources say that they're going to continue to put her on WWE programming, particularly on SmackDown, and that she is going to continue to play a prominent role, with the likelihood of increased prominence in the women's United States championship scene. Now, the thumbnail of that is going to be like, is Kiana James moving up the card? It's just ambiguous enough to make somebody think, wait, what are they doing with her? And then I click on it, and it's exactly what we just read out. Pathetic, really. Not Kiana, she's great, but they're garbage. They're trash. So, Skeener, one thing I wanted to talk to you about, and we didn't really talk about it a ton on the live stream, but I did want to get your thoughts on this. John Cena announced something seemingly big on Backlash, and that is the John Cena Classic. That there is going to be a John Cena Classic. I guess it's a tournament of sorts where competitors from SmackDown, competitors from Raw, competitors from NXT are going to get to compete, I'm assuming in some bracket style tournament, but the winners of the match does not determine who advances in the tournament. The fans decide who advances in the tournament. So the match outcomes are not the determining factor. It's who the fans like more, who appeal to them more in each match that is going to be determined by a vote, and whoever gets the highest number of votes is going to move on in the bracket and challenge the next person who competes under the same set of rules, and that there's going to be a championship that is to be won, a brand new championship that is being introduced for the John Cena Classic. When he announced that, I was excited. I'm always excited about a new championship. I'm always excited about a new title. I think if you're a wrestling fan and new titles get announced that you're not excited about them, we may not be the same type of fan, but whatever. The John Cena Classic, I thought that was a great way for Cena's name to be stamped on the product of WWE, because he is a GOAT, if not the GOAT, and that seems apropos. I think the idea of fans voting for who it is that they like the most could be interesting. I've seen this go sideways when it comes to fan voting on like reality TV shows. I'm not a reality TV show person, but I've heard about certain things going kind of sideways, upside down, when you leave voting of what happens next simply to the fans. But this is apparently something that WWE signed off on. I don't think Cena went into business for himself. So, I guess we're getting a John Cena Classic. Did he announce when this was going to begin?
It's I don't remember if he announced or we just looked up. It's like in November, I believe.
Okay. So August is SummerSlam, September, October. So, I mean, we're around the Clash of Champions time. We're around Survivor Series time, WrestlePalooza time. So, I mean, this could be something that happens on those PLEs.
I think, yeah. Well, no, WrestlePalooza was September last year, so I think Survivor Series will be. So we'll see. I'm going to assume it's going to be a standalone event, like a Saturday night's main event type slot. But yeah, so my thoughts on this right now are incomplete. I am intrigued. I will say that, but we'll have to see how it goes, especially with the idea that, like, hey, whoever wins the match doesn't necessarily advance or win, which kind of is a weird prospect because of just, how that plays with, like, yeah, we know this all isn't real and it's predetermined, but like, how do you square that with, like, then what are we even doing picking a winner if it doesn't matter? I don't know. I'm sure they'll find a way, but we'll just have to see. I'm excited for something new. It could be good, it could be forgettable and a one-year thing and we never talk about it, and it's hey, do you remember when we did that weird John Cena Classic thing? Or it could be a big deal and stick around forever. We'll just have to see. We just have so little details and just a very, very bare skeleton of what's going to happen right now.
Well, look, Mr. John Felix Cena stated that he wanted to do this for the next 5, 10, 15 years if he could. I mean, I guess WWE would either put the kibosh
Felix
on
Anthony.
This,
Cena.
Felix Anthony Cena. I'm sorry, I left out a middle
neither
name.
here nor there.
But listen, I will say this. I stated earlier that, I can see, I've seen this kind of go sideways when you leave the fans to vote, but my opinion on it, I don't dislike it. I don't dislike the idea. I can see, so consider like the Mae Young Classic, right? When NXT was doing the Mae Young Classic, there were no storylines that were going into the Classic, right? It was just matches that were being wrestled, right? To determine who wins the Classic. You could build a story around the John Cena Classic right, that comes out of the John Cena Classic based on what happened during matches. That's a great jumping off point that does not require prior history. You know what I mean? That's a great way to bring in fresh NXT talent onto the main roster if you want to. Is a great launching pad for some people. But as far as the fans voting for who they want to advance, here's the reason why I'm not mad at the idea. We understand at this point in the era of WWE Unreal, in the era of the dirt sheets, in the era of the internet, in the era of the smart marks, that WWE wrestling is a product that is put on. The wrestling matches are the aspect of the product that is sold to us directly. The matches are predetermined, and we understand this. A great match, when we look at matches in retrospect and we think, man, that was an incredible match, the winner and the loser doesn't really matter as much. I oftentimes feel like the winner of the match and the weight that the winner has is sometimes directly correlated with how good the match was. Like, if you have a real 5-star great match, I sometimes don't even know if the winner really even matters, unless it really jacks up a storyline. But oftentimes they're not going to write a finish to a match that does not function within the storyline that they're attempting to tell. So from a narrative standpoint, they're going to make the narrative beats make sense. But when the match is really great, right, there is no real winner and there is no real loser. Think about what we just talked about with Asuka and Io. Nobody before that match started was thinking, oh, Asuka could be wrestling her last match in WWE. We didn't think that, right? But in retrospect, looking back on it, yeah, this could have been her last match. But the winner and the loser doesn't really matter as much. We talked about how great the match was. We talked about the fact that it could be Asuka's last match, but not the fact that Io won it. And I think that's the big thing for me, is when you put on a really great match, the winner doesn't really matter as much. And if the winner doesn't matter as much, then you can put the emphasis on what did the fans think? What did they think of the match? What did they think of the people involved? Right? And who would you like to see go on and wrestle another match? Right? I kind of like that premise for this specifically, not like for wrestling.
Yeah, it's just different, and we'll see how that goes. Different is always, it's a lazy thing to say, but different. It's new, and I'm just at the point where, like, okay, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I agree. I'm looking forward to getting more information about this, because what I really want to know, aside from the voting aspect of this, is what title is being introduced. Like, this is a brand new title.
It seems like it's just going to be John Cena Classic Champion.
I genuinely hope John Cena's name is not on the belt. I hope it's not on the championship.
I don't know what else it would be. I don't know what else you would get for winning the John Cena Classic.
Listen,
other than to be named the champion of the John Cena Classic.
They could come up with an interesting name that builds into what. Now, here's the thing. Would it be something like a title that is only... Okay, so titles only matter if they're defended. If they're not defended, it's a trophy. You know what I'm saying?
Correct. I think that's more of what this is.
I don't know.
Or the greatest Royal Rumble, King of the Ring.
I genuinely hope it's not like that. Like, I hope it is introduced as a... I
can't imagine it's anything else.
Listen, I would love for it to be introduced as a new title, even if that title is only defended in the finals of the John Cena Classic, right? Like, for the first year, it determines the winner of this title, right? The next time it's done, the finals will determine who wrestles last year's winner for the John Cena whatever championship. Particularly if the championship, I feel like in that last match, right? If the last match is for this new title, that should be the one match in the John Cena Classic that the fans don't vote on. That should be a match that goes either way. But we shall see. I just hope that belt and that title does not say John Cena anywhere on it. I think they could come up with a good idea for another championship that's on, I don't know, a mid-tier level. Give some people something to do, something to talk about, but we shall see. It's a weird premise. It's an odd time to be introducing a new title, but I'm excited about it nonetheless. So I've been putting this off to the end of the episode, Skeener, because I want to wrap up the remainder of this episode talking about your trip to Japan. So I haven't
Okay.
talked to you very much
Okay.
since you left. And you told me about some cool things that you were going to be doing. I saw some out of context pictures of you in go-karts. I know there was a Mario theme thing that you were talking about, but I don't know who you were dressed up as. And yeah, I want to know. Tell me about your trip in Japan so far. Lost me.
Had to do a tiny bit of a refresh there.
No worries. No worries.
Well, it's weird because it doesn't like it's almost like a stream that pauses and then restarts.
Yeah,
So like I won't just lose you and pick back up where you are. I'll just progressively get more and more behind.
I got you. And no worries. So tell me about your trip to Japan so far.
It's been 10 out of 10 by far. Like it's great. It's a great experience. Obviously it being like a vacation helps, but yeah, like as an experience of the culture, the food, everything, it's been really great. We started with 2.5 once we count like getting in the room and traveling 2.5 days in Tokyo. We took the bullet train to Kyoto yesterday, and right now we're in Kyoto, and we've got 3 more nights here. Then we'll go to Osaka for 3 days, and then back to Tokyo for a couple days at the end. So just kind of going around, hitting the big cities, the classic first trip to Japan. But it's been great. We've just been exploring, going to a few of the sites. It's not very itinerary heavy, so we're kind of just waking up each day and deciding what we want to do, exploring, getting some good food, and just kind of figuring our way around here. You talked about the carts, so there's a couple companies where you get to drive go-karts around the streets of Tokyo, and it was more intense and real than I kind of expected, I guess. There's a very not strict, not thorough approval process to do this. So all we had to do was get our international driver's permits, which what that means is you take your driver's license to your local AAA office wherever you live, pay $20, and they give you one of these things. And then you show up to this location in Tokyo. There's a couple companies. We chose the one, as you referenced, that has costumes for you to dress up in. I wore an Eevee, the Pokemon, an Eevee
That's
onesie,
what you were.
and
Okay.
and Kelsey put on a Naruto jacket.
Okay.
I forget what character wears the specific jacket. I believe she was the Hokage of the hidden village.
Okay.
But yeah, so and you show up if you have your international driver's permit and book this. There's an optional safety video to watch. You do
Optional.
not have to watch the video, but yes, it's optional. They show you a QR code and say it's if you want to watch the safety video, here it is. And we did.
Hmm.
The safety video is essentially like, and I'm not kidding, the safety video consists of, hey, accelerators on the right, brakes are on the left. Here's the emergency brake, and here's how you do the turn signals. That's the safety video. And then you follow your guide through the streets of Tokyo that in go-karts that go about, I was checking on my phone, like they get up to about 50 miles an hour and you're just in open traffic. Like it's not a sectioned off course. You are driving go-karts along the rest of the traffic in the third biggest city in the world with that amount of training and approval process. And yeah, it is something for sure.
That in
I
no way
highly
seems
recommend
safe.
anyone that comes to Tokyo does that. No, it's not safe in the slightest. My wife was almost flattened by a garbage truck.
What?
She was in front of me in line. Yeah, well, I mean, you're on the road, and
Yeah.
some garbage truck was like trying to kind of pass her, And yeah, she was in front of me in the line. You kind of like stay in line with this guide, or you try to. Like you're not racing around here because you're trying to be as safe as possible. But yeah, this she almost had a little collision with a garbage truck right in front of me. I'm laying on my little go-kart horn, like somebody please do something else. But we made it in one piece somehow.
I can
I
only
am
imagine.
shocked with like there's like 4 or 5 different companies that do this and they just roll through it throughout the day that there's not more accidents, but it's still going. So I guess I don't know. I don't have enough faith in people, but it seems pretty dangerous to be
I
honest.
can imagine that. I mean, and this is, I'm sure it's another day in Tokyo for the people of Tokyo. But the reason I say that is because I can't imagine being a resident and not being annoyed to no end with the fact that, like, I'm just trying to get home from work and there's a, you know what I'm saying? And there's people flying past me in go karts dressed like Naruto. I feel
Yeah.
like that would drive me up the wall.
It's yeah, I mean so it seems to be throughout just like it's centered in one area of Tokyo, like the city and the footprint of what is considered Tokyo is just absolutely gigantic
Okay.
compared to like any city I've seen. Like maybe if you, or at least it seems this way, like maybe if you combined all of the boroughs of New York, that's what we're talking about, but with
Okay.
way more people and population density. So it's combined to like if you called it like the area around Times Square, sort of like a
Okay.
couple blocks throughout there. But yeah, I mean you're right. Like you're just alongside cars, people trying to live their life and get home, and a
And
garbage truck trying to get around. You
and
know,
y'all just out there being a nuisance. You're out there just
pretty
being a
much.
problem.
Yeah,
Just being the
yeah. I
impetus for
mean,
potential accidents.
yeah, one of my friends asked me, he's like, "Well, was it a good way to see the city?" I'm like, "I mean, sort of, but it's also like you're driving trying not to die. So like
Right.
you're also concentrating on the road a bit, and when we were doing it, it started raining pretty hard, which
Mm.
is not as damaging when you're in a car, but when you're in a go-kart and you don't have a windshield, you're just out there, and now you're driving into the rain at like 50 miles an hour, and the raindrops are stinging your face as they're hitting, and you can't see, and it was, yeah, it was what it was, but it was a blast, I'll say that. But yeah, like everything's been awesome. Like the food obviously is great. And just yeah, experiencing the cultural differences has been fun.
So tell
So
me about the
having
food,
we are
man.
having a blast, and so food, it's been, I mean, it's what you expect. It's great. Everywhere we've been is awesome. And that's, we've had a couple fancier restaurants. Those have been absolutely excellent. We've been to kind of little hole in the wall places that are still also incredible. I have had spaghetti from the 7-Eleven that is like top 10% of the United States in quality wise, as
What?
far as I'm concerned. So
Wow. Okay.
yeah, it's crazy. Oh yeah, it really is that good. Like the standards for like food quality in terms of like what you expect seem to be a little higher here. So like everywhere is going to be pretty darn good.
Yeah.
The no trash cans around is kind of tough. I do think
Okay.
the culture
Explain that.
could
What is
survive
that?
with having trash cans. So there are not like there's not like a lot of public trash cans anywhere. You'll see some on the subway, but like as far as like, trash can on a street corner, you're not going to have any. So if you have any trash, like you got to keep it with you. So we've figured out to like I'll take my backpack and bring a plastic bag in it, but yeah, so culturally most people if they're generating any trash on transit anywhere, like walking in between places, you are taking it home.
Okay.
But in general, it seems like they tend to not like walk and eat, walk and drink as much as we do. But so like if you get something, maybe you eat or drink it right there, and then
Yeah.
you can use the trash can at the establishment you got it from. But yeah, it's a little different. But it also means everywhere is so much cleaner here
I was literally
in
about to
terms
say
of
that.
like Yeah, that's not overstated. Like it is very clean here everywhere, including the Tokyo subway, which is a heck of an experience. We've gotten better at it, but like it's very overwhelming the first time. The signage is pretty good in terms of having English stuff too, but it's still just overwhelming at first, but we got pretty good at it. And now we're in Kyoto where there's not as much subway and it's more buses, so we're gonna have to figure the buses out and all that. And the bullet train was awesome. I had I really didn't even want to get off because it was a very nice experience, very quiet, relaxing. You know, you're in that train going 250 miles an hour and just nice. Everything's been great. I mean, I highly recommend anyone that has the means to take a trip to Japan to do it.
So let me ask you this. So Tokyo
Yes.
to Kyoto. This is a scaling down city size, correct? Tokyo is larger than Kyoto?
Yes, Tokyo's. I'm not sure of the magnitude, but yeah, Tokyo's the third biggest city in the world.
Okay.
And yeah, Kyoto is the older kind of capital. It's a little more traditional, less busy, and
Yeah.
where Tokyo's like the modern, very hustle and bustle city.
Okay. And then you said you will be going to what, Okinawa?
Osaka
Osaka. Okay, you're going to
next.
Osaka. So
Osaka.
is Osaka smaller than Kyoto?
I do not know. I believe they are similar size wise. I think Kyoto is the second largest and Osaka is the third largest. I think it's slightly smaller, but it's closer.
Okay. Okay.
Actually, wait. I think maybe no. I think Osaka is bigger than Kyoto. I think it's Yokohama that is the second largest city.
Okay.
So forgive me any Japanese listeners that I just screwed that up. Yeah, I think it goes Tokyo, Yokohama, and then Osaka. I think Osaka is back to being kind of a newer, more modern city.
Okay. So I was asking because I was curious if you were getting uh generally different experiences from one city to the next.
So we just got into Kyoto yesterday, and we found the hotel, got lunch, checked into the hotel, took a little nap, went out, got dinner, came back, enjoyed. I didn't mean to brag, but now that you're asking me, we've got out here on this balcony, we've got our private onsen here, a natural hot spring, kind of hot tub bath sort of
Nice.
thing. We
Nice.
enjoyed that last night, and today, as soon as we wrap here, because it's almost 8 a.m. here, we are going to be going out and exploring. So I will have to report back next week on I'll have another 7 days worth of experience here by the time we record again. So
Well, please do, man. Like this is obviously it's not as fun for me as it is for you, but it's fun because
no, it's
I'm
not. It will never be as fun for you.
no, but I am enjoying the fact that you all are enjoying yourself. So make sure that you take a bunch of mental notes and do some cool things and report back next week when we follow up for the next episode of the Lariat Lounge. I'm gonna let you guys get back to your vacation. So please, Skeener, let everybody know where they can tune in to hear more of the Lariat Lounge and follow up with part 2 of Skeener Does Japan.
The Lariat Lounge is coming at you once a week, every week. Find us on YouTube. Search the Lariat Lounge. That's where you'll find us. You'll find all the shows, video and audio format. All the past episodes are up there. That's where our PLE live streams are hosted. And you'll find all those going forward and from the past. You'll find them on that YouTube channel. If you still love the audio podcast, we're on all your favorite platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever else you get your shows, you'll find us. You'll get your merch over on prowrestlingtees.com/the Lariat Lounge. We got 6 great designs up there. We've got 7 coming soon, or a 7th, maybe an 8th coming soon. We'll see. I don't want to put any more extra ones on Everson, but maybe I can talk him into a few more. But we'll see. But yeah, that's where you get your merch, prowrestlingtees.com/the Lariat Lounge. Give us a follow over on Instagram at the Lariat Lounge Podcast. You can interact with us there, send us a DM, and as always, please feel free to send us your thoughts on anything pro wrestling or Japan travel at the Lariat Lounge at gmail.com.
Guys, we really do appreciate it. I'm gonna tell you, I need to check the Lariat Lounge email because I have not done it recently. That's on me, but I will check it. Also, Skeener is not talking me into 7 new t-shirts. He's already got you an extra 1. Okay, so you're gonna get 2 within the next month or so. But 7, that's a stretch, a bridge too far. But we do appreciate you guys. And listen, leave us a like rating wherever it is that you're listening. If you're watching us on YouTube, give us a like. It's a little thing for you, but for us, it genuinely means the world. We really do appreciate it. We're at 999 unique downloads. This week, we will hit 1,000 unique downloads. So I am overjoyed. And next time we all talk, we will be discussing 1,000 unique downloads. It's inevitable because we get at least 10 to 14 listens every episode. So we're going to cross that threshold. It's inevitable, but we really do appreciate
and we're going, and you know what? Today I will go out and wear my Toon Boys shirt. So I'm going to advertise this over here in Kyoto.
You have got to take a picture, bro.
Oh, I will. There's plenty of pictures. I just didn't want to inundate you with all the pictures. You're not on Instagram, so you haven't seen what I'm flooding my story with.
No,
so,
look, I will give you a window.
There have been plenty of pictures.
I will give you a window because it's 8 a.m. for you right now. I will give you a 2-hour window to send me pictures. And I will take a look at those as I edit and do all these things. But listen, we really do appreciate you guys.
Okay, I'll send them to you.
And I appreciate Skeener for taking the time on his vacation to get up early and to commune with us and talk wrestling before he and Kelsey head back out to take on Kyoto. So we really do appreciate it. From your host, Everson Godfrey, Andrew Skeens, this has been another edition of the Lariat Lounge. Please watch yourself on the way out.